Greetings to you. Greetings and welcome to Uncensored Guyana. Well, congratulations to President Irfan Ali. Congratulations to the president. The recent poll shows that he is 82% compared to Azruddin Mohammed, 18%. So today we're going to explore that and many other things on the show today. I want to talk about also the crisis that is brewing in the country and all of the negativity that is being spread online about your country, my country, the homeland, Guyana, the land of Dr. Jagan. Welcome. I am Dr. Al Persad. I hope you've had a wonderful time. Share this live. Give me the thumbs up. I want to read your comments. I want to know if you disapprove of the polls, if you think it should be 100% or less. I want to hear from you. What do you think? What's your thoughts on that? And spread the word. Now, this is a poll between President Ali and the opposition leader. Let's look at the scenario where these two men are vying for the public's trust and attention with no one else on the ticket. Based on that, Guyanese in general, based on these two individuals, gave Irfan Ali 82% and Azruddin Mohammed 18%. Should have been 16 since he got 16 seats. Anyway, let's talk about the Guyana police force and what has turned out to be the embarrassment to Black people. Thanks to the management and the advisors of the Guyana police force. Remember, the Guyana police force falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs, okay? Which is also headed by a Black person, a Black woman, to be exact. So we have the Guyana police force, which falls under the Home Affairs Ministry, headed by a Black woman. I mean, the Home Affairs Ministry by a Black woman, and the Guyana police force by a Black man. And almost 70% of the servicemen and women of the Guyana police force in every rank and department are Black people. Yet, on a national stage, as a Mashramani float parade, which I think they should do something about it, because that's the brainchild of Forbes Burnham. And the birthplace of Mashramani is Linden, right? Isn't it? The massacre tongue, the Guyana Jones tongue towards the Indo-Guyanese. But we still invest hundreds of millions of dollars every year in an idea of Forbes Burnham. I mean, nobody in the PPP can come up with an idea to rival that. Maybe change it, restructure it, whatever. You're still bringing the legacy of Burnham alive when you push MASH every year. The man's birthday is the 23rd. I mean, the 20th, is it? And you have 3 days after that is Mashramani. Isn't that his birth celebration? It's like Christmas. So is Mashramani something that complements the birth of Burnham, the legacy of Burnham? Anyway, Guyana police force, the pride of the Black people, the force in which Blacks feels empowerment. They can't say there's racism in the force. They can't claim that there is racism in the force because it's black on black. The other day you see black police trying to arrest another black police and they're fighting, and other black people want to jump in and beat up the police and all kinds of crap. What is the matter with you? On a national stage like the Mashramani, that is viewed around the world, and it's also a tourism attraction, the police force of all the agencies are going to openly promote racism, openly promote prejudice. If the head of the police force was an Indo-Guyanese, or a Chinese, or a European, a Portuguese, and they had done that to cast the entire costume of Caucasian people, then you can rightly point a finger and say, you see, this is colonialism, is racism against black people. And you had a black man pulling it. Like back in the days when you had the Africans carrying the wagon of the queen on their backs. What is the message in this, Mr. Commissioner? What? You have people that are cussing me and calling me an Uncle Tom. That I hate my skin. Here it is. That the people that they're supposed to love, Minister of Home Affairs, Commissioner of Police, approved of, sanctioned, sponsored, funded, and not only that, made a part of the parade an entire float of white people, meaning white police officers. What an embarrassment to the Negroes in Guyana. What an embarrassment. Shame on you, Commissioner. Shame on you, Home Affairs Minister. Now you give the PNC a lot to talk about. If this had happened under the PNC, that means votes for the PPP. But this happened under the PPP, under a commissioner of police that many are suspicious is incompetent and not qualified for the job, but was allowed to be commissioner because of President Irfan Ali, and by extension, saying the commissioner of police is a PPP. Look at the embarrassment the commissioner caused to the PPP. We're in an election year still. Local government elections is coming up. And you're going to pull this stunt? What's the excuse? You're sorry? It happened already. Black people have already been embarrassed, humiliated. You've lost points. You're making the PPP look bad. The PNC would say rightly that somebody from the PPP directed this to insult and embarrass the black people. And you can't blame them if they say that. You can't blame the black people for believing it if they decide to believe it. These are grown people in the police force. Grown people who should have known better. Should have known better. The police force of all the floats, you portray white people. What's the message there? You need to listen to Bob Marley. They're telling me I have an issue with mental slavery. Oh no. I don't hate black people that much. I don't hate them that much. To do that stupid thing that the police did. The organizers of the Mashramani should have called them aside and said, hey, you shouldn't put this on the road. You shouldn't. This is bad. Just opt out. Just say, well, due to some technical difficulties, the float cannot be a part of it. Or just get the police to march in their uniform. That's better. Let them march in their uniforms. You got a lot of attractive female police officers in Guyana. They should have gone there and said, hey, fuck the float. Let's go with our uniform and join the parade. You should not have allowed that float, even if some idiots in the police force decide to say, hey, let's go ahead with it. Say, no, 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 no. This is Guyana, it's in Europe. Even in Europe, they put a few black faces. And in Guyana, you had a black man carrying the float. Shame on you. What you should be doing, Guyana Police Force with the Home Affairs Ministry, is to pressure the Justice Ministry and the Parliament to get proper laws in place. Because again, when you look at the what's trending on social media or what's trending out of Guyana, you have two cases where two 15-year-old mothers, one murdered, I mean, not murdered, she's fighting for her life, and the other one died, and they're yet to determine the cause of death. And these are two teenagers that just gave birth to babies, 15 years. So they would have conceived when they're 13 plus. They're now 15, which meant they would have conceived when they were 13 plus. So the fact that a man can feel justified, and this isn't a spontaneous thing, that he could hunt down the mother of his child because she's no longer a teen. If you're fucking, you are a woman. If you get pregnant, you are a woman who got pregnant who is a mother. You're into teen. Don't label this thing as teen. It's a 15-year-old female, mother, woman. However, the fact that he could stab her to death, I mean, stab her to the point of wanting to kill her, what was going through his mind? He'd get off? He'd get away with it? That's the answer to every issue you have with your woman? You caught her flirting with some guy? She told you something to hurt your feelings? What can justify these men killing women like that? And most of the times it's in relationships. And when you do investigate it, it's about her flirting with some guy or they suspect she cheated on them. That's what it's about. Every time these fellas attempt to kill their women, it's always over another dick. Always. I can't wrap my head around it. Who tells men, who give men that learning that because you put your dick in a woman's vagina, you own her? Or because she makes a child for you, she's your property? Where did you get that from? Who gave men that idea? Before I move on, I want to say this, and I keep saying this all the time. Fellas, you got the pussy because she gave it to you. You didn't deserve it. You were the dick that was available when she was horny. And every female, regardless of their age, is horny. They experience that, every female. And more so when they start their menses, when they start menstruating. That time of the month, they can't help it. Their pussy tells them, hey, get a dick. And in their neighborhood, they might have some guy who's, interfering with them and pulling and tugging, and they're fantasizing. Well, you got to get the one that is closer. But ain't nothing special about that guy. Anybody who's available at the time the woman is horny would get the pussy. Anybody. Ain't nothing special. So when you get the opportunity to have sex with a female, you don't own her. That pussy ain't yours For that moment, you were the only dick that went inside of it. But when you pull out, that's it. The vagina is hers. If she wants to give it to somebody else, that's her business. And I mean that. You think I own any woman? I never walk around with that in my head. Even while I was married. I never see the point in the whole marriage thing anyway, but society. But even at that point, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Ladies understand the term wife means property. Marriage was invented so that you could be the property to a man, to serve him. They just give it a decent term, but that's what it means. He owns you. He bought you. He owns you. But the truth is, the only thing a man owns is what he's earned. Meaning if he work hard and he buys something with his money, with his earning, that's what he owns. Not even his kids. Stop this bullshit, fellas. The woman ain't belong to you, the pussy ain't belong to you. You have no God-given right or access unconditionally to a woman's body. You get it as long as she approves of it. If she doesn't and she approves of another man, fuck it, move on. So what? You're such a loser that you have to beat and fight with a woman because you can't move on? Move the fuck on. If she runs back to you, that's a good thing, right? It means the other guy can't satisfy her. She ain't gonna come back because he's broke. No, she can come back because it is satisfying her. And that's good for your ego. Then you can say, hey, no, bitch, go on, find the other guy. You're gonna kill her? Stab her? For what? You had another case in Berbice where the man, the husband, a grown-ass man, 47, stabbed his wife and then killed himself. The only reason why these fools would do these things is in their mind, the other man can't get her, so he can kill her and kill himself. Because he don't want to die alone, and while he's dead, he's going to think about, oh, somebody is fucking her. He knows that when he's dead, he's going to be thinking that if she's left alive, somebody else or the other guy will get her. He already know that. He was dead before. So they kill the woman and kill themselves. If your life doesn't matter, that's your problem. You have no right to decide or value somebody else's life that you didn't give birth to. The only person who has the right to value another human's life is the mother who pushed that baby out, not even the father. Not even the father. The only person who can value another human being's life is the woman who pushed out that life. Nobody else. So if you attempt to take another human being's life, and if you are not successful in doing that, I would recommend you kill yourself. Because your life don't matter. Kill yourself. Forget about it. Because if you don't do it, they should kill you. You have no right to put a value on somebody else's life to determine whether they die or if they live. That's not your call. That's your call for your own life. If you don't value your own life, or you can't go to your mother, if she's alive, and ask her if she agrees for you to kill yourself, and if she says yes, then go ahead. That's your mother. She made you. She has to value you. But if your mother would not give you permission to kill yourself, why the fuck would you do it? And if your girlfriend's or your wife's mother wouldn't give you permission to kill their child, why would you do it? Then if the only alternative is you killing yourself, bless you. But leave other people's children alone. Because their life matters. Yours don't. I'm here to provide therapy. I don't have time to waste to tell you go seek counseling. You know, counseling, talk to them. Maybe they have issues. Fuck all that shit. Be responsible for what you do every day, how you conduct your life. Be responsible for that. If you know you can't handle a bad girl, stay out the ghetto. If you can't handle a bitch, don't take one from the clubs. Live within the means of your character and what you can tolerate. You got a small dick, enjoy eating pussy. Because either way, that woman ain't belong to you. And please, fellas, let her go. She don't want you, let her go. You know how many men in Guyana are embracing homosexuality? Especially amongst the Africans. You know how many black women are starving for penis? They're starving for a man to get them pregnant. They're starving for attention from a man because most of the black men in Guyana, they're running after asses and bamsy. Most of them, they're not interested in pussy. So if you are a real man and you're from another ethnic group or an Indo-Guyanese man or whatever it is, don't kill the women, man. If an Indian woman don't want you, go take a black one. There are many women in Guyana that are available and they want a real man. Leave the people's girl children alone. For heaven's sake, man. I put some notes down because I want to explore, you know, the issues with how Guyanese see President Ali. And it's important because I want to prepare your mind for the possibilities of the elections that's coming. We have to know now what Guyanese are concerned about, what is affecting the average Guyanese, and how that can be resolved. I know there are people who watch, government people. I know, don't go denying stuff, say that, well, who's Dr. Prasad? I don't, yeah, you all watch me. Every one of you. Don't go pretending. I hate that shit. Seriously. When these guys were just normal citizens, they would send me message on Facebook. Back in the day, they would meet me. I mean, I know they know me, I know them. They know what I do. I've been doing this for a long time. They know. Suddenly, they get a position. They become a politician. They become a minister. Doctor who? Dr. Love, Dr. Prasad, who's that? Fucking idiot, you know me. You know me. Don't go telling, pretending like if you were this high and mighty, you don't have time to watch programs. You spend your whole life on social media. You want me to call your name? Seriously? Anyway, I should say I don't know you, but you know me. You better listen well. I put the numbers down. So I wanted to break down for you, the audience, the overall performance of President Irfan Ali. General, how is he doing? Like I said, based on the two individuals, the criminal and the priest. The criminal is 18%, the priest is 82%. So we covered that. If there is an election right now, Ali would run away with the votes. We covered that. Let's just move on from that. Okay, bravo, President Ali, yeah, good. But let's go now with the details. So we have the overall performance. Again, not the individuals, the performance of the president. Excellent is 15%. Good, 25%. Average, 20%, poor, 25%, and terrible, 15% by percentage. So I want to go down to, now that's the overall performance, generally. Now we're going to specify it. We're going to break it down into categories. Number one, public safety. My favorite area. Safety for the Guyanese people. Public safety. For the people who think the president is doing an excellent job when it comes to public safety, it's 10%. 10% of that 80% thinks you, Mr. President, is doing an excellent job when it comes to public safety. Those who think the president is doing a good job is 20%. An average job, those who think it's average, like, normal, 25%. Those who think the president is doing a poor job when it comes to public safety is 30%. It's higher than all the other three. And who thinks he's doing a terrible job at public safety, 15%. So we have poor and terrible. The combined percentage is 45%. 45% of the 82% thinks that the president, Irfan Ali, is doing a poor and terrible job at public safety. Ain't that a fact? Healthcare. Those who think the president is doing a good job when it comes to healthcare, excellent job, 12%. No, that's the poll, that's the data. 12%. Remember I said politicians talk a lot? They can provide any information by talking. It's what's on the ground. How are Guyanese evaluating this? What is their opinion? Based from the 80, all these figures I'm giving you is within the 82% that has approved of him, generally compared to Mohammed. For healthcare, 12% thinks he's doing an excellent job. He's doing a good job, 18%. An average job, 20%. A poor job, 30%. And a terrible job, 20%. So 50% of the 80% thinks the president is doing a poor and terrible job when it comes to the healthcare, general healthcare of the nation. 50% thinks it's poor, terrible. So you're moving on. Jobs and employment. That's the trend that I'm going on with in the coming weeks. From the 82% who overall chose Ali over the asshole, Mohammed, 8% thinks the president is doing an excellent job when it comes to jobs and employment. 8%. 15% thinks the president is doing a good job. 22% thinks the president is doing the average, in between. 35% thinks the president is doing a poor job, and 20% thinks he's doing a terrible job. So again, we have 55% thinks the president, when it comes to jobs for Guyanese and employment in general, 55% thinks the president is doing a terrible job when it comes to jobs and employment for Guyanese. And that is 55 from the 82%. We go to salary, the big one, and the cost of living. Salaries and cost of living. From the 82%, understand this is not taken from 100%. This is taken from within the 82% that approves of the president compared to the 18% that approves of Mohammed. From that number, when it comes to salaries and cost of living, 5% thinks the president is doing an excellent job when it comes to salaries and the cost of living. And I can tell you who the 5% is. The cabinet. They're the ones who would think that it's an excellent job, because of course, they're the ones enjoying the high life. But 5% thinks it's excellent. 12% thinks it's good. And you would guess what the 12% would be. As all of you like to point your fingers, friends and family, right? Of the government. They would make up the 12% that would say that it's a good job. You know, salaries and cost of living is good. 12%. The average, 18%. 18% says the president is doing an average job when it comes to salaries and the cost of living. Just 18%. So when you put together 18 and 12 plus 5 is 25%. 25% of the 80% of Guyanese thinks President Irfan Ali's government is doing a good job when it comes to salary and cost of living. 25%. Poor, 40%. 40% from the 82%, which is half, thinks that the president, the government of President Irfan Ali, is doing a poor job when it comes to salaries and cost of living. And we have a terrible, as in those who think the president is doing a terrible job, 25%. 25% thinks the president is doing a terrible job when it comes to salaries and cost of living. This is a very important area for Guyanese. I talked about this continuously over the past few shows. Compensation. Dr. Jagan talked about the working class, building the working class, strengthening the working class, giving Guyanese the opportunity to rise to middle class. We all can't be rich. We all can't be millionaires. But can we all live in the middle class status? Yes, we can. Because as long as you have a job, that's your ticket to the middle class. But you can't hold a job for 50 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you're still not even making it as a working class, much more to see the middle class. There are people who have worked 20, 30, 40 years of their lives and still they can't afford to build a house or buy a house. They've been renting all their lives. And even now, the government has been giving out houses. They're not giving out houses, they're selling the houses. People have to pay for that. Even now, as Guyanese may find themselves in their retirement age, being able to get a house, it's still not theirs. They have to pay for it. So they will die not being able to own a house. You only own the house when you finish paying for the house. The title is in your name. You have no lien on the house, no mortgage on the house, then it's yours. You understand? Politicians use certain terms to confuse you. But the facts of the matter is, even if you are able to get a house through government housing programs, it's not yours. You have to pay for it. So the fact that you have worked all your life and you couldn't make it because the salary you got compared to the cost of your life to live is ridiculous. You are only in existence mood, not survival, existence mood for all your life. We have to date 2026, where a combined number of poor and terrible amounts to 65%. Thinks the president is doing a poor and terrible job when it comes to salaries and the cost of living. Every sector across the aisle, more so amongst PPP supporters, they cry out for the hardship of inadequate salaries and the exorbitant prices in the shops. The thing about the PPP supporters or the groups is that they are family centered. They are home builders. And when I say that, they invest in home. So they would feel it the most. They don't have the culture of buying junk food on the roads. Most Indo-Guyanese or Afro-Guyanese who are well cultured, they don't buy stuff and they cook. They cook every day. They shop for their groceries. They don't allow their kids to go outside and hustle in the streets. They want to provide for their families. So they're the ones who gave this data that the current president Irfan Ali and his government is doing a terrible job, 25% of them, when it comes to the cost of living and salaries. Terrible. Let's move on. And finally, corruption and accountability should be synchronized. The reason why the government, the president, Irfan Ali, and the government, based on the data, is doing, 40% said he's doing a poor job and 25% said he's doing a terrible job. The reason for that is for this one: corruption and accountability. How much percentage of the Guyanese thinks the president is doing a good job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability? 3%. Yeah. The salary one was a bit high. That was 5%. So I guess the persons within the cabinet don't think the president is doing a good job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability, because only 3% said it's excellent. Just 3%. 7% says that the president is doing a good job when it comes to corruption and accountability. 7%. Average 15%. 15% of Guyanese thinks the president is doing the average job, an average job, when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability. The latter two is what's disturbing. The Guyanese who thinks the president is doing a poor job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability, 40%. You politicians better listen. 40% thinks the president is doing a poor job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability across the board. For the Guyanese who think the president is doing a terrible job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability? You guessed it, 35%. 35% of Guyanese thinks the president, Irfan Ali, is doing a terrible job when it comes to dealing with corruption and accountability. So where are we now? The two most important areas that concerns the voters, salaries and the cost of living, and corruption and accountability. The only way you can't be accountable is if you're corrupt. The only way the cost of living would be very hard and high for you is because you're having a poor salary. You want to solve the issues with corruption? Hold the people in public office accountable. When you have this thing about government officials must register with the commission that deals with oversight with what people gather out of office and in office, stop the game, man. Stop playing games. Quit playing games with my heart. Quit playing games with the Guyanese people. You can't report to yourself. You can't investigate yourself. Guyana is a small place in terms of the nation. People are closely knitted. Everybody knows everybody. Corruption can't hide. Not every time corruption is exposed is some political agenda. It could be based on jealousy. It could be based on the fact that people think that he don't deserve what he's getting. There are many factors. It didn't all have to be with political mandate or agenda. There are too much of words coming out, too many talks, too much talking. People need to see more actions. Crime going unsolved. Corruption is across the board. People must be held accountable. Proper oversight. If you don't trust your own agencies, you people like to talk about FBI, like to talk about Scotland Yard, like to talk about Canadian Mounted Police. If you don't trust your own people to investigate them, then bring foreigners to do the investigation. Bring foreign auditing firm to audit ministries, to audit the books. You don't trust the Auditor General, then bring somebody else. The Guyanese people deserve to know what's happening with their money, because the data on salaries is through the roof. Everywhere you go, that's the complaint. They can't afford it. And you wonder why the birth rate has declined. You wonder why a lot of men are turning to men, because they can't take the responsibility of having a woman in their lives. Women cost money. The men are running from that because they know if they have a wife, they got to go work. They got to go provide. And if they go work and provide, they still can't provide. Because she brings one kid, it's hard. Then she still brings another one, it's even worse. Then she brings a third kid, the man runs away. Those of you who are implying, just because you may live in a country where that country's structure forces you to have to do 2 jobs and 3 jobs and 4 jobs, don't curse that on the Guyanese society. That may be a Canada or America or England, where that's Europe. Those are slave economies. I'm not concerned about how they run their country. Those countries are slave economies. Yes, to survive in those countries, you have to have 2, 3 jobs. But Guyana is a large economy with a small population. a large economy with a small population. They shouldn't be suffering that much. Guyanese don't need to do 2 and 3 jobs. Even if they have to, who is going to employ them? When you're finished slaving in one company and you can't afford to buy proper food because it's so expensive to nourish your body, and the time it takes for you to rest to go to another job, you're talking about the mortality rate for Guyanese men would be 35 years. Definitely no kids would be born. Because if the women have to go through that as well, when would they have time to have sex? And even if they do, you think in that economy they want to bring children? They're struggling. They want to bring children for the children to struggle as well? Then yes, suicide rates will go up. Violence against women will go up. The contributing factor is stress. A small population, and you can't pay the people properly. They have to walk around with this sentiment. We don't want people to vote for the PPP because they don't have another choice. That should not be a reason. We can't settle for the PPP. We have to consciously want the PPP because the PPP is a party that understands how to love the people. Well, I'm the Dragon's dream, the working class. This is 2026. We shouldn't have this data to deal with. 40% thinks the Ali government is doing a terrible, a poor job when it comes to salaries and the cost of living. It's too high. People have approved of making comparison to these two men is because there's nobody else. So everybody hang on to President Irfan Ali because there's no proper challenger. There's nobody else there, but that should not be the reason. It should not be the reason. Because if Guyana raises up somebody that the Guyanese can rally behind, what happens to President Ali? Because he don't have to run again? No, he's carrying the entire party on his back. So if his approval ratings drop, confidence in the party will also drop. We don't want that, do we? What Guyanese want? What are they begging for? Proper salary and just manage the cost of living and deal with the corruption, man. It's too much. Everybody got to get a kickback for something. It's like this is not, when you become a politician, you're not working for a salary. You're working for a commission. So the bigger your commission is better for you. It means that you have to always settle for a better deal that suits you. That's not accountability, that's corruption. Guyanese deserves better. We don't want the Guyanese to rally behind Ali because there is no other choice. Guyanese must choose the PPP because it's the only choice. But under the circumstances, that's not the case. Because all the numbers that are coming out from within the supporters of the PPP. The 18% that backs Mohammed is the same 18% that backs the PNC. Mohammed's numbers are the PNC numbers. Those are the people who are sympathetic to Mohammed are the same people sympathetic to the PNC. And if you deal with data from them, well, you know you won't see these numbers. So when you're dealing with figures that reflects the sentiments of Guyanese, it comes from the majority of the people who support the PPP. They want to see real changes, not talk changes, not changes on paper, not a budget presentation that this is going to happen. They don't want that stuff. They want to see it reflected at the end of the week, the fortnight, the end of the month, they want to see that reflected. It can happen. How will it happen? Just get rid of the corruption. Get rid of the corruption. It's sad. I'm disappointed. I was expecting higher numbers. But I have to reveal to you exactly as it is. I'm not hiding anything or pretending that, no, I can't do that. The government officials need to know the facts and they need to stop lying to the people. Because you're saying one thing with your mouth, but in your pictures, in your images, what Guyanese are seeing is something else. It's something else. Government officials should not be a part of the elite class. The elite class in Guyana should be the working class. They should be the elite class. Politicians are there to serve the working class, to serve Guyanese people. But you have an elite class. If something happens that comes out of the cabinet or comes out of the office of the president, it's only a certain group of people you always see. If some program or project is handled by the first lady, you're only seeing a certain type of people. Ministries, certain type of people. And that type of people are not the ones who voted for the PPP. They're not the ones who were running around the place and campaigning and taking the risk for the PPP. They're not. But yet every elite function, you see them, but you don't see the voters. It's a shame. Elections are coming up. Before you know it, it's 2030. You never want the vacuum to be created for the PNC to fill it. Look after your base. I'm going to keep saying this until we get results. I could have downplayed this, push it aside and forget about it. No, I won't do that because I want to see changes. I want to see improvement for the Guyanese people. I want politicians to take responsibility, to understand that you are not the gods. Guyanese are the gods who make you what you are. So when you drive around with your big vehicles and have people opening doors for you and putting carpets for you to step on, you're losing votes. Votes put you there. Change your approach. I hate the sight. I don't want to see you posting pictures with fancy suits, fancy this, fancy that, while the people who are sharing your post, they can't even go and buy, they have to buy a suit that somebody wore before. They have to go to the Chinese shop and shop for a Chinese shoe. You got to be smart. Think like the European politicians. Look at how the European politicians operate. The public never know what they have. They are so humble. But a third world mentality, that's what you get. I'm not here to spread propaganda. My concern is keeping Guyana on the path of progress. But progress is not alone infrastructure. Progress is paying the salaries, paying the people good, providing for the people, better health care, better electricity, and most importantly, corrupt politicians. Most importantly. I too don't have a choice that I can turn my back on the PPP. I don't have a choice. So I want to see the PPP do better. I want to see them do better because I don't have a choice. The only choice I may have is to create my own party. And I don't have the means to do that. So I don't have a choice. I need to see changes from within the PPP so I can be proud again of the party that Chedi died for. Until then, clean up your act. Congratulations again to President Ali for the 82% overall rating between him and the asshole. You should have gotten 100%, but the PNC got to get something. Share this live. I want to hear from you in the comment section. And again, thanks for your attention. Goodbye.